Hey everyone, welcome to day one of the Scrappy Moms Stamps October release, as well as my holiday mini-series. Yes, I am embarking on my first ever holiday mini-series. I know Halloween hasn't quite gotten here yet, and I'm still working on that mini-series, but with Scrappy Mom's brand new stamp set that they released this month, I just couldn't help myself and had to get started. So I am starting out with Simon Says Stamps 120-pound cardstock. This is the cardstock, if you watch my videos, that I normally use to color with Copics, but it's a super solid base, and that's what I really wanted for this card. So I've cut it down to 5.5 by 5.5 card, and the card that I'm making today is solely from the Silhouette store. This is entitled Happy Holidays, and its ID number is 33461, and it is a great card for the holidays to mass produce because it's just a couple layers and it's really easy to go ahead and put together. Now, this cut normally comes with the word Happy Holidays on that white frame part, and I wanted to get rid of that so that I could use the Scrappy Mom stamp sentiment instead. And I tried on grouping it, and the letters were still permanently attached to it. So I went online and I searched for how to remove that, and I found a great, easy to follow video. It's actually done by Carissa Wiley, and it's titled How to Release Compound Paths. And she explains it so easily. So if you ever buy anything from the Silhouette store and you can't ungroup certain things, they're like permanently attached or grouped together, then you'll want to watch that video because it is great and easy to follow. So I'm just taking my little Cricut poking tool and getting out some really small cuts that didn't come out. And that last tree didn't seem to cut out quite right on one of the branches. So I'm just taking my scissors and smoothing out the cut and making it more precise. And then aqua color that you see measures also 5.5 by 5.5. So I'm just putting down my layers and making sure it all fits accordingly and there's nothing sticking out. Unfortunately, I guess I must have missed it, but that aqua piece is a little bit longer than I would like, and you'll see me go ahead and trim it afterwards. So the first thing I decided to do was go ahead and stamp my sentiment. And the reason why I did this is because if you stamp it afterwards, once the card's put together and it comes out not the way you're hoping, then you're either going to have to start the card over again or try and lift up that last layer and cut a new one out. So I thought that the smartest thing to do for me, because I have the tendency to not stamp well the first time, is to go ahead and stamp it that way. If it didn't come out like I liked, then I could go ahead and cut another one and then restamp it. So I'm using my favorite go-to black ink, which is the VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and this just gives you a really precise stamping, especially with sentiments. I just love it. I always use it with my Scrappy Mom stamp sentiments. So now I'm just going to go ahead and adhere all the layers together. I'm using just your basic ATG, and I'm layering the navy blue, the darkest blue, onto the medium shade of dark blue. And then I'm going to go ahead and attach that to the aqua base, which measures 5.5 by 5.5 as I mentioned. And you'll see here that aqua is a little bit longer than I like, so I'll go ahead at the very end once I've attached all the pieces and go ahead and trim it on either side just because I don't want it sticking out from the white frame. And I'm going to use some Tombow Mono Multi Glue for the trees. I totally forgot to add adhesive before I put it down, and so I had to lift up the trees and add some adhesive afterwards. You'll see I went a little bit crazy on the adhesive on this first tree, so what I like to do is just take a paper towel and just dab it. You don't want to smear it or streak it because although it dries clear, you still get that glossy sheen to it, so I just like to dab the paper towel just to absorb that extra glue that's come out the sides. All of the paper that I'm using today, with the exception of the card base, is just basic recollections paper that I've accumulated over time from Michaels. I love when they have their sales that are, 3 packs for $5, or when they have their super sales for paper, I tend to stock up on different colors. So you'll see me use, these are the memory keepers, or making memory tweezers that I got at Michaels. I believe they now have the tweezer bees. I believe that's what they're called, but these I've had forever and I absolutely love it. It is perfect for small and detailed cuts that you need to stick down, and you'll actually see me using it on the stars, and then I switch over to a different tool that worked a little bit better. So I'm just trimming off very little bit on either side just so that it's not showing from the frame. So I laid down the frame and I didn't adhere it quite yet, but I wanted to have it laying over the whole front of the card, so I knew exactly where to put down the stars. I didn't want to have a star too high that was cut off by the frame, so I just laid the frame. And these stars are not, I'm not following the guide of the picture, I'm just putting them in any random order. Then you'll see I just end up putting glue on the paper, and then I use the tweezers to put it down. But then I started having some trouble with just using my finger and the tweezers, so I started using my quick stick. I absolutely love this tool. This is a must-have if you do a lot of Cricut or silhouette cuts that are super tiny and fine. What this has on one end is basically that green tacky stuff that your teachers used to hang posters up way back in the day. And then you just use the other end of it, which is like a poking tool, to attach your cut to your project. Next, what I'm going to do is attach the frame of the card to the other layers, and I'm just using ATG on the bottom, and then I'm using the Tombow Mono multi-glue to the trees, and then also to the top edge of the frame and the moon, just to make sure everything is attached securely and nothing is going to move or shift. Then you'll see that I didn't do a very good job of lining everything up, which is no surprise to me. And I'm just taking my sharp scissors and I'm going to just trim that blue that is peeking out, and then attach it to my card. Thinking about it now, I would have liked to try and use foam tape or pop dots on this top white layer, because I think it would have given the card a lot of depth. However, if you're mass producing this, then I would suggest just taking the easy way and using some ATG and mono multi-glue. It's quicker and probably a little bit less expensive than using foam adhesive on this top layer. So I'm just positioning this onto my card base. And of course, no Christmas or holiday card would be complete without some kind of sparkle. So I am using the diamond stickles. And I'm just using it on the bottom part of the white layer to make it snow effect on the hill, you'll see there. And then I'm just adding a little bit onto the trees from, again, the top layer, the white layer, just so that they glisten a little bit. I really love how the effect of just a little bit of stickles totally changes the card. So that is it for my day one card of Scrappy Moms October release and holiday miniseries. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick card that can be mass produced, and check back soon for some more videos. For a list of supplies used on this card, be sure to check my blog at techniquesbytrish.blogspot.com.